63 years, Northeast ARC has been at the forefront of providing the supports, education, and training to people with disabilities to help them become engaged members of the community. One creative way they've come up with is to spur on innovative ideas is this week's Art Tank competition. Similar to the Shark Tank contestants, pitch creative concepts that generate positive disruption to aid people with intellectual disability and autism. The finalists are vying for the first round of funding of up to $200,000 provided by the Changing Lives Fund, established through a $1 million donation from Stephen Rosenthal, founder of West Shore Incorporated. Now, here to tell us more about Art Tank and the competition is Joanne Simmons. She's the CEO of Northeast ARC. Joanne, thanks for coming in. Welcome to Urban Update.
Thanks very much.
So tell us a little bit more about the Art Tank and how you got the idea for it.
Well, when Steve Rosenthal gave us this amazing $1 million gift, we really thought about how we could use this and make the biggest impact possible. And of course, the easiest thing would be to just take the money and try to figure out what we could do with our own organization. But Steve was looking for something different, a different way of doing philanthropy. And we thought, what if we actually did a competition, gave this money away to try to spur positive disruption, taking a page from the kind of positive disruption that's happened all over the country in terms of ride-sharing programs and food delivery systems. Could the same innovative creativity be applied to an area where no one had thought about it?
Fascinating. Now, what exactly, tell for our viewers, just tell them a little bit more about what Northeast ARC does.
We're a large human service agency, and we serve 9,000 adults and children every year in 190 communities throughout Massachusetts, eastern Massachusetts. And we provide services from children from time they're diagnosed or even in utero to their families to the end of life, in a range of services from family support, early intervention, recreation, residential, employment. It's a pretty complex and large organization. And being so large, we're looking constantly at ways of how we can be more innovative and creative.
Now, how is the Art Tank competition going to work?
Well, it's in its final days, as you mentioned. We received over 100 proposals from all over the world, in fact, and we narrowed it down to 45 proposals that we called were in the holding tank. And those proposals were reviewed by a group of outside reviewers, and they've recommended 7 to go forward before an expert panel of judges on Wednesday at the John F. Kennedy Library, where we are partnering with the Library Foundation for this effort.
Wow. Why, in your view, is it so important to shake up the delivery of services for persons who are intellectually disabled and also autistic?
Well, I have a personal connection. I have a son who's 38 who has Down syndrome, and I'm impatient and I'm competitive. So I want to be both out on front, and I want to do it quickly. And I've been watching the world change really positively. You know, the way I get rides, the way I get my food delivered, the way I purchase things have all dramatically changed, and technology is really leading the way. And I think those kinds of creative out-of-the-box thinking can be applied for people with disabilities, and we can have efficiencies, and we can have effectiveness, and we can improve their lives.
Okay. Now, you must be really excited to have gotten this donation, this $1 million donation. Talk to me about, I guess, what motivated Steve to do this.
Well, I think Steve was motivated from a personal sense of a concept that we call repairing the world, Tekiah Lum, which comes from a Jewish tradition of philanthropy. And he feels really strongly, which is why he established the Changing Lives Fund, that if he could change one life, it really could change the world. But he was also looking for a different path in philanthropy. He had always been a traditional philanthropist in terms of writing checks. But how could this become different? And how could we actually, through this gift, encourage other philanthropists to think differently and outside the box? And it was really his creativity and his willingness to invest in us, and now we're going to invest in a whole lot of other people.
Now, talk to me about some of the these innovative proposals you're going to be talking about on November 15th.
Well,
that have been pitched.
Well, some of them that we're going to talk about. One is we learned that the leading cause of death among children with autism is drowning, and one of the proposals is to create a program where we could actually make every person with autism water safe by the age of 10. And hopefully prevent drownings. Another is using virtual technology, virtual reality, to teach adolescents with autism new experiences, which is something that they find very difficult. There's another pitch that's going to be about creating a smart home and being able to have people with disabilities live much more independently because they're going to be able to rely on technology instead of people.
Why Northeast Arc? Why do you think you were the
Why was well, Steve and I have been friends for a long time. We actually met on an elliptical machine at working out, and over 15 years ago. And he learned about my passion in disability, and I learned about his interest in philanthropy. And when it came time for him to make a gift, I think he wanted to make a gift to an organization which could be impactful, innovative, and do a different kind of philanthropy.
Finally, what do you hope is accomplished with Arc Tank, sort of the big picture? Because it sounds like you're trying to see if you can. You talk about disruption. You think maybe the way this has been handled in the past, these kinds of services maybe sort of been stuck, maybe in a rut a little bit.
Exactly. So we're trying to shake it up a little bit. And it's not because people are unwilling. I think that it's hard to make changes in old established businesses. And we're trying to bring the new technology of accelerators and incubators, that kind of thinking to disability. And I think there's a lot of interest, not only in philanthropy, but our government as well, I think, will be very supportive of the ideas that we bring forth.
Okay, can't wait to find out what some of these ideas are, which ideas that you pick. Joanne Simmons with Northeast Arc. We'll see what happens with the Arc Tank.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in. Okay, coming up, information on To This House, a dramatic expression of the first Christmas featuring ballet, African dance, gospel music, and more. Details in just a few, right here on Barnett.